Yes. Welcome each and everyone. If you're watching us live, of course, that means, as it always does, that it is noon Eastern time on a Wednesday, which is always, or almost always, time for the High Noon Hemp Show. You can find us in many, many places, of course. If you're watching video either live or on demand, you can do that on Facebook, the Temptations Beach Facebook page. We're also on the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel and at Temptations on Twitter/X, whatever it is that you call it. The podcast, of course, Podbean, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Search the High Noon Hemp Show. I'm Stoner Jesus, and he is Beach. He is high above the Temptations in Sharonville, Ohio, at the Hemp Quarters. How are things this week in the world of Temptations, Beach?
Wet. It is wet. It's no
Indeed.
longer cold. It's like it went straight from the middle of winter to spring. I don't know what the heck's going. I mean, it's this
Yeah.
Cincinnati weather at its finest. Honestly, uh, it was like bone chilling coldness, and now we're going to reach like 60 degrees with rain. So we're not out of January yet. Why wouldn't you want to live here?
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks everybody for showing up. We got a double header, and it's gonna be worth it. I got all kinds of good stuff for today's show. I want you to remember the FDA has not evaluated this show for safety or efficacy. And let's go ahead and do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the hemp fields of America and to the soil in which it is planted, one seed under the sun with responsibility, sustainability, and thrivability for all. Coach Freddie's Pledge of Hemp Fields. Pledge of Hemp Pledge. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Um, Speaking of pledges, I do want to say yesterday was Gatewood Galbraith Day. Gatewood, if you don't know, was the leading pioneer in all things pro cannabis in the state of Kentucky uh, for most of his adult life. He was an attorney in Lexington. Um, very early in his career, he had a big cannabis case. He would have a joint behind his ear, and he would publicly say, "I have marijuana on me," and he practically begged the police in Lexington to arrest him because he wanted to go to court um, so that he could defend himself um, one way or another. But Gatewood was a great man. We shared some stages together later in his life. And again, his voice for cannabis and freedom, period, was unbelievable. He ran for governor, I want to say at least 4 times, maybe 5 times. One time he even, as an independent, got like 5% of the vote, and that's a huge number when it comes to independent votes. If an independent gets in a big, governor or presidential election, if an independent gets more than a couple percentages, it seems to be a big deal. But he got almost, I think, over 5% of the vote um, running as an independent one of those years. And again, he couldn't commit to obviously being a Democrat or a Republican, um, but again, his voice is unbelievable. I give him. Mitch McConnell might have been the guy that pushed the federal legalization of hemp. Um, but I can tell you right now, Gatewood's voice was in Mitch's ear the entire time. The entire time. He was in all those politicians down there, an agricultural kid, everyone that was pushing for it, trust me. They were hearing his voice. He was well well voiced, never stopped to share his opinion on cannabis, and was, I mean, unbelievably educated, not just on you know personal use, but hemp itself. I mean, he really had a good part of what he did um, was the legalization of hemp and how ridiculous it was that Kentucky farmers couldn't grow it, and now they can. So we celebrate his day on his birthday, which was yesterday, and again, great voice for all things pro cannabis. Thank you, Gatewood. Um,
Indeed.
so here's interesting local news. Uh, the Ohio Department of Agriculture announced a recall of Ohio-made CBD products made from Rocket Systems. They're right down the street, like
Hmm.
15 miles from here in the city. I didn't have anything. I don't know anything about them. And what I really thought was interesting is they had hundreds of products that were recalled because they weren't inspected. They weren't. Um, in the state of Ohio, if you manufacture any hemp products, you have to be licensed to do so, and then apparently they have to inspect those products, which is even crazier because that would be for a pair of jeans, I believe, if that's the rules for industrial hemp. That's the way it would be. Um, but this company had hundreds of products with, I don't know, a variation of different names, which I just think you're just like, I don't. I mean, that's shady at its best, right there, in my opinion. Why don't they just have one product name and blah blah blah? And so anyway, happening locally. And again, they're probably a huge company. They're, once again, they probably have me to thank for being here. I'm not going to say, but or I might be the reason that they are here. I don't know. But I don't. I've never heard the name. No, no, I didn't recognize one of the product names on any of the different products that they have, and it was like I think it was. I don't know if it was the same thing under different names or what. Again, but got in trouble. They had to recall. I don't know how many products, which was interesting because they said they just threw them away, or they told people, I guess, to throw them away, and maybe they can still be inspected and then get approved. I don't know. I don't know. But if you happen to check a label and your CBD product was made by Rocket Systems or distributed by Rocket Systems, and again, I couldn't even tell you. I'm sure you can go online and look at all the.
Oh, hello. Oh, your audio is gone, Beach. Your microphone is muted. It says. So I don't know how that happened. Your microphone is still muted. So I don't know. I can't. I can't hear you anymore.
Okay.
We have the weirdest audio
So,
issue. Oh, there we go.
well, this is what's ridiculous about this is I get a phone call because I forgot to put my phone on do not disturb, and then it puts my mic for the show on mute.
There you.
That's too much
That makes sense.
communication between electronic device. I mean, again, I can make my own decisions. Phone, I can make my own decisions. Oh shoot! All right, let me try to get all this stuff on do not disturb. There we go. All right, hopefully we're good from here on out. We'll see.
Before we get into the product spotlight, I appear to be missing a picture.
Yes, I realize that. I'm just going to hold it up.
Okay,
I
cool.
realized that I didn't get you my. That's right. We're going to do the product spotlight, which is 4 from the store, 1 from my door on the High Noon Hemp Show. But the 1 from my door, I forgot to add, so I'm gonna personally hold it up for you to see. Um, the first one that we have here is the Greenfield Paper Company Eco Resume Kit. That's right. If you're looking for a job and you really want to impress an environmentally friendly company, then come on in and get this resume kit. I don't even know if people even do resumes anymore. I feel like all jobs are like filled out online,
Yeah.
again, I don't know. I don't do. So anyway, that's not true though, because I just had a really good friend of mine recently who was looking for a job, and she was going to interviews. I'm sure she probably put a real resume together. I know she had to have a cover letter one way or another. And so anyway, if you want to impress your environmentally friendly future employer, hopefully, there you have it. How about some wicked shoes? These are again super appropriate right now. And then if you're looking for a pair, most of the inventory is, well, all the inventory is in the Sharonville location.
So if you need a new pair of boots, possibly come on in and see what we got. Maybe call, see what we got for sizes. I don't really know. I have to check down there, but super appropriate with the snow and the cold weather that we got. I've been wearing these almost every day, um, and now that it's getting rainy and crappy out, I'm going to continue to probably wear them, as much as possible. And so, wicked boots, and I've yet to find out. I haven't checked. They were supposed to release a new line this year or late last year, and so I'm going to have to go check and see if, in fact, they have released a new line of wicked hemp boots. Satori socks. Socks are good. I doubled mine up the other day. It was so cold. I haven't done that in a long time. But this is once again, this is kind of the selection of Satori socks that we have in the Sharonville store, one way or another. And wait a minute, did I forget? What did I forget on my list here? Did I send you? Oh, the hats. That's right. I forgot to put the hats because I put the hats on here because we just stocked up. I just found like boxes of these. I can't believe I didn't have any idea. So I stocked up the stores with the hats. I think we were pricing them even cheaper than we ever did. And I have also listed them um, individually on eBay, and as you can buy this 3-pack here on eBay. I am ERB Son of Ma on eBay, um, and Son of Ma has obviously is a pun if you know because Ma is the Chinese word for hemp, and so I'm literally a son of a beach, but I am of course a son of Ma, hemp, and my mother. Love them both. Anyway, uh, and just these are fair hemp, made by Fair Hemp. And so you can search fair hemp hat on eBay as well, and I can ship you one or three or as many as you want. I think I've got them on buy it now, and I don't know how many I actually have available, which I might have to go change, maybe to make more available and at a discount. Multiple if you buy more than one. Who knows? Anyway, there you have it. 4 from the store and my eBay door. And then the one, mine, this week is my handy dandy little zipper pouch, which is basically was my bank pouch for a while, and now it's just kind of a, you know, uh, zipper carry various whatever that I want to put in there, phones or whatever. Made right here at Planet Everywhere Manufacturing. Um, and so there you have it, folks, on the product spotlight here on the High Noon Hemp Show. 4 from the store, 1 from my door and eBay. Dun, dun, dun. And I'm going to start probably putting more hemp stuff on eBay, I feel like, one way or another. So, and
There you go.
now,
And now, just an update. I tweeted or X'd or posted at the Guinness Book of World Records again, just in case they forgot about us. Still, no response. They're off doing other and very important records, but eventually they'll get around to Beach. And we'll continue to sit here every week and chronicle the record just in case they need proof. But still, they could just come and see. Beach will show them the whole thing. In any case, brings us to the beachwear segment, where I ask Beach a very important question. Someday, a world record breaking question. But for now, just a question. What are you wearing, Beach?
that's right if you're curious. What are you wearing, Beach, when you don't want anybody to see you? How about camouflage? So this week is my camouflage outfit. Um, and we have two unseen clothing items in this. Never been seen on the High Noon Hemp Show before. Not my hat because I might have worn this camo no bad ideas hat, and it's tough to see that the bill is actually camo. The top is black, the bill is camo, which fits in with the black and camo green theme that I've also got going on here. Uh, the jacket is my Smith Center jacket. Now, this might only be like the second time I've worn this um, Smith Center jacket. Underneath it, there's one, that Hempy's shirt, that t-shirt by Hempy's there, green, has never been worn. I found this is one of the shirts that I found in a box that's been boxed up for like 10 years since I moved out of the O'Brienville apartment studio. And so this particular Hempy's shirt has never been seen on the High Noon Hemp Show. Underneath that, though, that long sleeve black is two Jupiters. I'm pretty sure I think I've broken that out. I know I've been wearing a little bit of finding some two Jupiter stuff, which is a company that's been, they are not manufacturing under two Jupiters anymore. I know that. But anyway, my camos, which I'm sure you've seen before, are INI. That's right, INI cargo camos. These are the camos that I wore um, for a good amount of time that I was in India, and I just loved them. They were great. They worked great when I was there. In my pocket there, you can see my Green Springs Technology pen, which I carry every day if I have a pocket to carry it in. I'm wearing some Satori briefs, boxer briefs underneath it all, and also Satori socks. It's the Canaleaf Satori socks. On my feet are a pair of shoes never seen before on the High Noon Hemp Show. They're made by Venus, spelled Venus, but it's got the two little dots above the U, so I believe it's supposed to be pronounced Venus. I think that I found them on eBay probably. I can't even imagine. They've been in a box for 10 years, um, and they just happen to fit that green theme. I really kind of based the whole outfit around the shoes, because I really want to, if it's never been seen on the High Noon Hemp Show, it should be seen on the High Noon Hemp Show. I did finally gather all my outfits, all these squares, in one folder, and started to mess around with some other stuff. So now you know when it's camo. What are you wearing, Beach? There it is. So, and I found the pictures to remind me of my world record breaking hemp clothing records. And it was 161 different hemp hats a day for 161 days, and 191 shirts, a different shirt every day for 191 days. And I don't know if can do the math, but I'm pretty sure that's over a half a year. So over from, and I think that my next goal is probably when March comes around. I'm gonna have to count it all out. I think when March comes around, I'm gonna go ahead and set the pants slash shorts record, um, and see how many days I can go wearing a different pair of pants or shorts. Um, I'm gonna wait till March, because if I start now, then I might have to wear some shorts in March on days that I don't want to. Not saying I wouldn't do it to break the record. There's extremes you got to go through, but I want to, I'm going to wait till March, and that way I can get through March with long pants and maybe even some shorts in March, because you never know. I mean, hell, I could be wearing shorts on Friday. It's going to be 60. I'm
Yeah.
not. It's 60 and rainy is still kind of chilly. If it was 60 and sunny, there's a good chance I would. But anyway, so those are and I did find those. So I'll have those ready to show maybe next week, the official. And again, it's just a picture of my t-shirt rack with the 191 and all my hats. I do have a picture of, I believe, all 161 hats, different hats that I wore to break that record, or to make that record.
That's
Okay,
right.
I don't break hemp records. I make hemp records. Wow, it makes me want to scratch. Oh, shoot. How about records made out of hemp? I think we could probably do it. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure, but possibly. Let's find out what is getting made out of hemp. Oh, I do. We're going to go to the news, but first, another one of my favorite commercials of all time, the Three Beaches, starring in the news commercial.
The largest selection of hemp goods on the planet. Reporting live on location, let's go to Kenny Biss. That's right, Ima. As you can see, Hemptations has great hemp goods, as well as e-juice, vapes, books, and much, much more. All from a store you've trusted for 20 years. Now back to the hemp studio for the forecast. We are expecting highs in the selection region of Hemptations and lows in the prices, with more hemp to come. Back to you, Ima. That's Hemp News, having Hemptations for 20 years.
There you go.
Fun stuff. The magic of TV. Fun stuff. All right, well, we got all kinds of good, mostly good news, I believe, going on. And so let's get started. You know, I have always in the back of my head wondered where this 0.3% standard came from. 0.3% THC makes an industrial hemp. And again, that was what I was educated on from day one in college when I was researching hemp. You know, what is the what has always been this definition of the difference between cannabis for marijuana, what they call marijuana, or cannabis for hemp. And so finally, I know. I know. Okay, I'm gonna again. I don't know specifically, but this 0.3% all comes from a hypothetical mention in the 50s of this number. I mean, I don't know. It didn't say who the person was. It didn't say where they put this hypothetical philosophy out there that industrial hemp should be 0.3% or not. But it happened in the 50s, and of course, you know that was see after the war ended, and so hemp goes back to being illegal. I think there was maybe one Wisconsin farm that was still allowed to grow, and I think I feel like they had a government contract or something to grow and they were the only ones that went back. You know, it was 1937 until about 1941 or 42. We get involved in the war. It's illegal. During the war, they implore our farmers to grow it. For the war effort, they implore our farmers to grow it. The Hemp for Victory video is made, 15-minute little documentary imploring farmers to grow hemp for the war. 1945, the war ends. We go back to the draconian hemp is illegal under the Marijuana Tax Act again. It's just mind-boggling how the government can practically beg farmers to grow something, and then when they feel like they're done with it, tell them that it's illegal again. Anyway, we're finally growing here again, and so that's all good. Now, this actual information, which I think is interesting, was discovered by a physical scientist at the National Institute of Justice Office of Investigative and Forensic Science under the DOJ, the Department of Justice. Okay, um, and he goes on to say it's not grounded in science at all. There's no which is 100% true. In all honesty, you know, you've heard me say it probably 100 times on the show. The percentage of THC does not matter when you are growing for seed or fiber or hurd, which is that outside bark that we make hempcrete out of. Okay, makes no difference what THC is to that final product. Okay, um, why they tried to define the difference? Everybody knew what hemp was. Everybody knew what marijuana was. I've got a picture from the. I'll try to find it from like It's either the 1913 or 1919 Federal Department of Agriculture handbook. Okay, and in the picture, it clearly shows a marijuana plant right beside a hemp plant. Um, you know, hemp's tall, grows tall and thin and planted together and, you know, whatever. And You know, if you're growing for the flower, you want it to be big and bushy. Now, if you're growing for the seed, you may say the same thing. But I think you still can get a ton of seed production out of planting close together, um, and having it grow taller, so to speak, as far as being more like a bush, than whatever. And so, you know, again, I've always known, you know, also in the back of my head, that the 0.3%, it's a mood issue. It was a mood issue until CBD came along. In all honesty, I think if CBD wasn't that drove the industrial hemp, I think it would be easier to say that THC number doesn't really matter. Once again, if you want to do the science of it, um, the fact of the matter is, it does not THC. The THC content does not affect a product when being used for the fiber, the hurd, or the seed. Okay, there's no THC in the seed. There's no THC in the seed, and so I think that, you know, and again, I think this is the approach because there is a large movement now, that if anything positive comes out of the farm bill being delayed, is the fact that now there is a decent movement to try to get that THC federally raised to 1%. And so hopefully that will be a positive result from this person from the DOJ's findings. In all honesty, you know, all they have to do is do a little science um, and you know, test the fiber, test the seed, test it for THC. We have all these tests for THC. How hard can it be to throw some seeds in a centrifuge and see if there's any THC in them? There won't be. There isn't. Whether it's the shell or the hurd, they're now. There's possible that there would be THC on the outside of the seed, but I am pretty sure that part of the process of processing hemp seed is to do a shake, a high intensity shake, which removes all debris from the outside of the seed. And then it goes on to whatever it's going to be or whatever you're going to do with it as far as food product, or maybe you're going to make oil, you know, whatever. And so this is kind of interesting, and that title alone should hold some weight, I suppose, that person has, um, for what they've come up with and that information. And so now we know is basically a hypothetical mention of a number to distinguish the difference, I suppose, between industrial hemp and cannabis that is what they call marijuana. Anyway, hey, I don't know if you follow uh, Zara Tyndall. Here's a picture of her. She is the daughter of Princess Anne. Okay, and if you follow the royalty, then you'll know who that is. But there she is in Australia on vacation wearing a hemp Patagonia shirt. And what I love about it is there's a leaf. You know, I don't know if you can really see it, but there's a leaf on the pocket that's a pretty good size. So, you know, it's not like she's even trying to hide that she's wearing a hemp shirt. And so I am sure that drew some discussion. Um, you know, thank the paparazzi for noticing, I suppose, and then asking her about it because, you know, or going and doing some research to find out what that was all about instead of just assuming that she was, you know, pro marijuana, as they call it. You know, she's pro hemp, pro environment. Australia has a very large hemp movement right now, more in the food. They have been growing hemp in some of the provinces, but the country itself, or the continent itself, just legalized not too long ago, federally, or I don't know what they call their government there. Uh, but James Cameron has been supposedly been probably growing industrial hemp in Australia for 10, 15 years at least. At least. And I don't know, well, maybe 5 years, because I may have reported on it right at the beginning of the show. You'll have to go back to some of the first shows. The only reason I know that is because some kids went and raided his hemp fields thinking it was marijuana, and it wasn't. And that's how I found out that James Cameron, famous director, was growing industrial hemp in Australia at the time. I don't know if it was maybe for fiber, maybe for seed. I don't really know. I didn't get that far, but obviously the flowers were attractive enough that these kids thought that they was going to get them high, which it would not. Which is really funny because they just went back and were sorely disappointed with the end product. And if they actually did go try to sell it to anyone, they would have been accused. They would have been saying this is ditchweed. I don't know if they had ditchweed in Australia or not. Ditchweed's what we call industrial hemp in Kentucky, and I hear it is what they call industrial hemp in other states where you find ditchweed. And so we were always educated as kids growing up in Kentucky that ditchweed looked like marijuana, it smelled like marijuana, but it wouldn't get you high. Um, and there was some literally growing in the ditch pretty close to my house. We lived outside of town on the country roads, and I do remember. I think my mom even pointed it out. She's like, "There's that ditchweed." Anyway, good stuff. Good stuff. That was my first encounters with hemp, and I didn't really know it at the time. Uh, but I do remember that. I remember that one way or another. Here's a little recipe for how to make a gut healthy smoothie, and this comes from a gastroenterologist. And so we'll put this up here. And the gastroenterologist, and I quote, says hemp seeds offer a ton of plant-based protein, and so it's pretty simple. Just take all this stuff that's there on the top, which I think is funny because it's got arugula. You think arugula, ooh, but it's also got blueberries and banana, and so you probably don't taste the arugula, but you get the nutritional value of the arugula. If you don't know arugula, what is arugula? That's from a movie, My Blue Heaven, Steve Martin, great freaking movie. Anyway, leafy green. What I've always been educated on, because I've always said it's not about being on a diet, it's about having a good diet, is the greener the leaf, the more nutritional value the lettuce or spinach or whatever it is, leafy green that you're eating has. If it's really light in color, then it's probably not that nutritional value. Arugula is a very dark leafy green, one way or another. And then, of course, you blend the hemp seeds in. And then I love the last ingredient. Basically, says add a little more hemp seeds if you want. You can't have enough hemp seed in your gut healthy smoothie. Apparently, you can't have enough hemp seed in your diet. Um, it's an unbelievable heart healthy blah 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 protein. I've said it all a million times. I'll probably say it again because I'm going to talk about some more food and stuff down the line. We have some other recipes even to share. So there you have it. There's your gut healthy smoothie, if you so dare. And speaking of recipes, how about some dulce de leche coconut energy balls? Huh? Yeah? Who doesn't want some of those? I'm asking. Because this, got to be good. I feel like this is it's a no bake situation, which I really like. You see a lot of no bake hemp food, like when it comes to sweets and things like that. I really um, enjoy the no bake, and so we'll leave this up here for a minute if you want to get a screenshot of that. I feel like I'm doing a lot more online these days, having more time on my hands. And so I'm going to start posting these pictures at the Temptations Beach Facebook page, which is something I should have been doing before, and I'm just was just lazy, just being lazy about it, honestly. Um, so look for those to be posted. Look for all the recipes and that kind of stuff to be posted at the Temptations Beach uh, Facebook page here. Shortly after the show, maybe on Thursday. I'll probably do it tonight. I will do it tonight. I promise I'll do it tonight. Anyway, um, so the NFL is officially partnering with the University of Regina. I believe it's in Canada, actually, is where where they're going to do these trials on CBD. And it's going to be a clinical trial on CBD. Now, I don't know if this was because I also saw somewhere that they were going to do a cannabis and concussion kind of see if it can help with that because that's huge. I think this may be more on possibly pain relief and those type of things. And so I think that once again, if it wasn't federally legal, the NFL wouldn't test for it. We're seeing more sports. I think officially the NBA or the baseball is not doing it. I think I saw officially that the WWM or WW the fighting um, league or whatever it is not testing for cannabis anymore, and so we'll see. But this is going to be a CBD clinical trial, which I think is going to be quite interesting to see the results, and then hopefully once again give the FDA more reason to say yes, anyone should be able to use this stuff if they can, if they need it, because they aren't. And I don't want it scheduled. And again, don't fall for this rescheduling of cannabis thing. If they reschedule cannabis, which is the talk, not take it off the controlled substance list, all that means is you will actually have to get a prescription, not a recommendation. And you will actually have to go to a pharmacy, not a dispensary, to get it. Okay? All scheduled drugs, no scheduled drug is over the counter approved, whether it's Schedule 4, Schedule 1, whatever. And so, once again, if they reschedule, that actually is going to put more control in the hands of the pharmaceutical companies and more control in where it's actually sold. And so it's a terrible, terrible idea. And so it has to be taken off the Controlled Substance Act. And I came up with this recently. I said, and then it would be overseen by the ATF, which could then, in fact, change their name to FACT, which they would do, ironically, because they could be the firearms, alcohol, cannabis, and tobacco. And so, anyway, that's just a brief rant on what's going on in the federal legalization of cannabis. Is now they're talking about rescheduling it, which once again is not what we want. And again, it would just completely mess up all the recreational. It would completely mess up all the medical in the entire country. And so anyway, we'll see what happens there. But it needs to be off the controlled substance list. Get a hold of your senators, governors, anyone you can, and tell them one way or another. Obviously, it's not something that's going to happen before the elections, which is ridiculous. But anyway, let's move on to more hemp stuff. Here's a soju. I don't know anything about that. They're called Soju Organic. I think there they are. They're making a new line of ready-to-drink protein shakes targeted at athletes and wellness aficionados, and will be available at Target and they're getting that protein from, of course, hemp and a little rice and peas too. Um, once again, the value of hemp and protein, you know, has that's the one thing we know about. Now we're seeing some obviously bigger companies out there going more mainstream with it, and it doesn't surprise me that you know well, it does surprise me a little bit at Target because I don't know what kind of hemp foods. I don't even know if Target has groceries, to be honest with you. I don't know the last time I was in a Target. I know the last time I was in
Maybe.
a Target, they had hemp soap and shampoo like right by the checkout. I do remember that the last time I was at Target. Um, and so if they do have groceries, I don't know what kind of hemp groceries that they sell, but uh, there's one more coming. I don't know if it's been done yet or not. Um, I suppose one day I should go around just to do it. Go around to all the grocery stores or anywhere that sells groceries and just see what I can find on the shelves for hemp food, um, one way or another.
Yeah.
Always do it when I'm at Kroger's, and I'm always looking for something that Kroger's might be selling that has hemp in it. Um, it makes it kind of difficult because a lot of times they don't promote it as a hemp product. They just sometimes they're just like I remember we got some masula, I forget what it is, oats, whatever they are, and I turn it over, and lo and behold, there's hemp in the ingredients, and I mean, they don't tout it at all, and so you know, I might do some internet research. I don't know how I'm gonna really do that. Other than I know when I search for foods um, on Amazon, I always go and look at the ingredient label. There's always pictures of the packaging, and there's always pictures of the ingredient label, and so I always go and check the ingredient labels pretty quickly. That might be the easiest way to do it. Um, I don't know. I don't know, but there you have it. Protein targeted at athletes and wellness aficionados. Yes, it's true. So January is no drink January. This is one of those new things I've never heard of before. I'm like, anyway, great. If you drink so much that you think you need to stop drinking for a month for some reason, then you probably should stop drinking for a month. um, that being said, here is a pic of some of the non-alcoholic drinks that I've mentioned before or never mentioned before. You got the Pathfinder there in the big bottle, so to speak. And that's distilled. That's actually distilled from hemp. Some of these are infused. I don't know which are infused, other than I do know that this one is a distilled one, which means they actually distill part of the alcohol from hemp seeds. Um, you've got three spirits up there. Right beside that, you've got the Aplos down the yellowish kind of bottle. I think that's called Kin. Is that the Kin? Um, and I really don't know what kind of alcohol these are trying to mimic, other than the To Be Honest brand or Honest brand, the one in the bottom right corner. That's actually going to be a gin. So if you enjoy a gin margarita, and you'd like to use a non-alcoholic hemp drink for that, um, then then that to be honest, and I think they call it Focus actually, but it is that one is hemp infused. So they basically make the non-alcoholic gin and then they add the hemp to it after it's made, one way or another. Uh, And so there you have it. If you're into your no drink January and you want to try to find some hemp substitutes, there you have it. Give some of those a try, maybe. In an article that's titled Building sustainable value chains from hemp and flowers, I think is very interesting. Hemp clothing has a longer lifespan than cotton, antibacterial properties that reduce the need to wash hemp clothing, and is heat regulating for the body, which makes the fiber useful for sportswear brands. That's a quote from the article. All those things are true. The one thing that they, well, no, they do mention that it has a longer lifespan. We've always said 4 to 6 times stronger. I don't even know where those numbers come from now that I say them. Other than, actually, we do know where those numbers come from. We can test tensile strength. We know the tensile strength of hemp, and so we can test it. I totally take faith in those numbers because I'm sure that when we test the tensile strength of cotton compared to the tensile strength of hemp, that hemp blows it away. Hemp blows it away one way or another. So hemp is the strongest natural fiber. And again, I am sure that we know that from testing hemp's tensile strength. There you have it. How about this? This is one of the first, and they're touting first of its kind, but the University of Plymouth in Australia has built a classroom out of hemp. There it is, the first that we know of hemp classroom. And again, here's Australia really like they're embracing it all now, from food to the hempcrete. And I know that there is a hemp block maker. More on that in the show in Australia right now. And I think that one thing I heard about that was they're caught on fire. And of course, the only thing left were the hemp blocks because hempcrete is in case fire retardant. Again, there is a video. I think it's probably on YouTube. Honestly, it's like 9 hours long. 9 hours. If you think you like watching paint dry, try watching a burner try to catch fire to a hemp wall because it doesn't happen in 9 hours. The flame is to the wall for 9 hours at least, I believe. Um, and um, and so again, why wouldn't you want your house or classroom to be made out of this stuff? And of course, it's also very clean. Um, and there's a lot of other great reasons why you want to use hempcrete in the building of your home. Again, you can't use it as load bearing anywhere yet. Although I did report on the show a couple months back that a university has come up with a load bearing recipe for hempcrete. So I'm sure they're filing for the patents, and the school is going to end up, selling this particular load-bearing hempcrete, hopefully to every construction company in the world at some point or another, so we can use it for load-bearing. That's the fact. Once we can use it for load, we will be able to. But again, 49 out of 50 states have approved it for everything but load-bearing. And a lot of times they call it insulation because they pack the walls. You got the frame of the house, and then you pack the walls with it. And so it's not really a concrete wall as much as it is actually, a hempcrete wall. It's a hempcrete insulation. And again, that's one reason why building with hempcrete is such a great idea, is because it is also a great insulator. It will help keep your cool in the summer, and will keep your heat in the winter as well. One way or another. So there you have it. University of Plymouth in Australia builds the first, we believe, classroom out of hemp. It's not the first hemp, or it's not just one hemp first building that we have on the show today either. So once again, stay tuned. I told you it was going to be a good one. We're we're going, we're running, we're going to run long today, guarantee it. I don't know why I say that because we don't really have scheduled time, but I have noticed that we tend to almost every show tends to be an hour at this point, which is boost up. If you go watch the first shows, they're like a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. But for a while now, I've been had enough to keep me going for at least an hour. Today we're going over an hour, folks. So buckle up. We got more to go. If I had another commercial, which I should have done, we could have taken another commercial break. Honestly. Anyway, how about Swiss company Fischbacher 1819 releasing this? This is their what they call their nomadic journeys collection of material. Okay, and they're described as the new textiles are warm, natural tones using yak wool and, of course, hemp. And, I don't know, you definitely can't tell that there's wool. Maybe in the one that has the pattern because you can't really see, but the natural one and the green one, those look like that's just hemp, almost canvas type of stuff. And so, I don't really know. I guess I don't really even know what kind of products these go into when it comes to their collection. I'm gonna have to look in this into what actually. And I know they're over in Europe. They're not here. I don't know. If they have a website that has then products. Um, sometimes I don't do enough research, I guess, on some of this stuff. But I'll get to the bottom of that. One way or another. But it's Fischbacher, Fischbacher, 1819, 1819, and I believe that was I don't know what that was, but they're a Swiss company. So if you want to go check them out, I said the UK, but that's not the UK. The Swiss are their own thing, man. Switzerland's its own thing. One of the only countries in the world, I believe, that's landlocked. And ironically, they have one of the best air forces. I don't know if it's still true, but I remember hearing it somewhere that the Swiss had one of the best air forces in the world. And of course, it is touted. They are touted as being the most happy people. It's one of the cleanest countries. I mean, they have had countrywide recycling and reusing for 20, 30 years, from my understanding, in all honesty. And so we probably have, and of course they've got those army knives that they're famous for, which I'm sure if I look close enough, I have one around somewhere. Anyway, here's what I feel is like super ironic, ridiculous news. But there's a Starbucks barista in Halifax who was fired for vaping CBD. And again, I don't know, and again, this is not I feel like someone else just got fired in this part of the world, north up there and wherever Halifax is, for some, again, industrial hemp CBD product or whatever, which is really, crazy. But he was a barista. I'm like, I mean, do they drug test their employees at Starbucks? Because I mean, they're like from Seattle or something, right? Seattle's like one of the most smokiest cities in the whole world, from my understanding. And I'm like, and of course, this is not the United States. And so, again, but I feel like obviously this is like something that maybe is a local government issue, because I feel like there is no way that Starbucks' policy is to even drug test. I don't know that. I'm like, it could totally be wrong, in saying that. I don't know that I am. If anybody knows Starbucks' drug policy, I would I would love to know, honestly, what that is. But I feel like, again, this is like, I don't know. It's got to be some local reason for this, one way or another. Um, and so, and I can't imagine though it's Canada, right? I think Halifax, Canada. I don't know for sure. Someone could, you know, check on that. I'm pretty good with my geography, to be honest with you, but I don't know where every city in the whole world is. But that sounds right to me. Unless it's like Halifax, New York, which I don't think that's the, I don't think that was the Halifax they were talking about. Anyway, I just can't believe that Starbucks anywhere would fire someone for vaping CBD. Maybe they have a no vape on property. I don't know. Again, I can't even imagine. I just can't imagine. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Everyone should call their Starbucks representative. I think every state has one. No, I don't. I made that up. Totally made that up. But I did just look at a map of um, like every state and the most popular uh, coffee place in those states. And again, the entire western part of the United States, every state was Starbucks. On the eastern side, there were some people that beat out Starbucks, and I can't even remember who they were. Dunkin' Donuts, I think, won one state, or anyway. But totally from the west over, Starbucks was the most popular coffee shop. And of course, if it's on sales, then of course it is because there's a Starbucks. The joke is there's a Starbucks on every corner, like right across from each other, on every corner. Anyway, I think they've got. I don't know if they've gotten away with that or not, but there's probably two Starbucks within 2 miles of me here. I'm almost sure of that. Anyway, how ridiculous is it to fire someone for vaping CBD? Again, you're dealing with all these coffee customers. Sometimes they can be not that cool. So I would think you'd be encouraging your employees to be using CBD to keep them calm. But I could be wrong, or I probably am. How about a revitalizing juice blend recipe? Maybe this is like your juice. You make some of this juice and have some in the afternoon, maybe. And at first I thought this was a smoothie, but it's not actually a smoothie. You make it with water, and I do believe that you whip it until it's more of a drink liquid, just like making hemp milk. Which is very simple with hemp seeds and water and a little bit of other stuff. This one is water-based oranges, grapefruits, and of course a little honey, a little ginger root, which I can see as well, and then bim bam boom, add your hemp seeds and mix it all up. Basically, 60 seconds, done in 60 seconds, and drink it on down. Feel good. That's one thing I don't have anymore. Is a blender. I do need to get myself a blender, so I can actually start making, possibly making my own hemp milk if I want to, and some of these other things, smoothies and whatnot. When we were making smoothies, it was quite enjoyable. I like it, one way or another. Especially since recently I posted a recipe for a coffee, or had coffee in it smoothie, I believe. And so that's what I need in the morning. Start working on some coffee smoothies. That sounds like a great idea. The hemp seed, man, I might come up with my own coffee smoothie recipe. Why not? I'm sure there's some out there. Don't get me wrong. There's probably 100 of them, one way or another. Maybe not hemp, but at least coffee smoothie. But everything, if I start making my smoothies, I'm going to start putting hemp in them, no doubt. So I came across a spa profile, and the spa is in Sedona. It's called Amare Spa, and this is a quote from the person. I think this person was reviewing the spa. That's what this article was about. But she says, I highly recommend pairing treatments together, such as the hemp seed scrub and the hour-long CBD massage, which can alleviate pain, soothe inflammation, and address skin conditions. So true, man. A hemp scrub, it's a great idea for your skin. Um, and of course, the CBD massage is, it's a step above just even a hemp oil massage. Using hemp oil as massage oil, add that CBD in there, and man, you're doing your skin and muscles and everything a bonus. And so it's great that this fall, and I think they were touting this. It was like an eco-friendly review of the spa. That's why they were there as well, is because it's supposed to be kind of eco-friendly, I believe. But it's true. Nothing better for the skin than a hemp seed scrub, I'm sure, and probably nothing better for the body than an hour-long CBD massage. This I am also sure. So get in there. If you're in or around Sedona or anywhere in Arizona, you may want to, because I think it's a resort too. I mean, of course it is. It's a resort and spa, not just spa. 10 best nuts and seeds ranked by protein according to the dietitians. Who comes in first? Dun, dun, dun. According to the dietitians, hemp seed is number one. And I quote, these mild tasting seeds may be the star of the show. Well, not maybe, they were number one, and they are the star of the show. And so, once again, um, you cannot get any more protein out of any other nut or seed than you can out of hemp seed. Um, we keep saying it, and it's so true and still true. Talk about a first in building. This TikToker, okay, and this the TikToker's name on TikTok, which when you type out TikToker, because that's what they call her. I believe I shot some pictures of the hempcrete blocks. There they are. TikToker is also TikToker. So this TikToker who goes by Hemp Healthy Home say, and this could very well be true because I haven't seen one of these before, that they are the first to build a home with hemp blocks. Okay, and so again, this is the other way. Making I've seen hemp blocks that look kind of like Legos. I've seen hemp blocks that look just like a cinder block. These have like a little kind of a different shape to them, and they didn't show the blocks like an individual block. This is just from her TikTok website, but they are saying that they are the first to build a home with hemp blocks, which I could almost buy it. We're seeing a lot of firsts that maybe first in modern time, although even when they used hempcrete in France 600 years ago, it was more molded or poured, most more than likely. The bridge, that 600 years old hempcrete bridge that has just the ends, I believe the butts are made out of hemp, but it was probably poured at the time like we pour it in when we use it in a frame or spray it in. I've seen it sprayed in as well. I did post. They are, and I would assume it's done, but they were building a house out of 3D printed hempcrete, and so I might have to go back and check on the status of that, if they've done any more or not. But I do know that I have shown that on the show. But this very well could be the first hemp block home in the United States. So if you want to check more on that, check if you're on TikTok. I don't do TikTok. Maybe I should be a TikToker. Maybe, but that's Hemp Healthy Home is her TikTok handle. So pretty neat stuff. Making the rounds there again, promoting hempcrete as a building material, one way or another, and getting it some attention. Um, so again, just such amazing things that we can build. How about a circuit breaker? I mean, a circuit board, a computer circuit board. Okay, so the UK university is working with a company called Jiva Materials, Jiva Materials, JIVA, to develop the first fully recyclable circuit board. And of course, they're going to use hemp. Why wouldn't they? Um, it's just unbelievably great use for it. And what I've learned about why they would want to make these out of hemp, it's because um, currently circuit boards form the largest share of the overall carbon footprint for an assembled electronic product. Okay, they're like cotton is to pesticides and herbicides. They're the big bad guys. They use the worst. They're the bad. Um, and so, of course, even if this is carbon neutral because it's made out of hemp, because we know that carbon is a sequester of hemp or carbon. Hemp is a sequester of carbon. I'll get it right, I swear. Um, and so, everything made out of hemp is at least carbon neutral. And a lot of the products made out of hemp, including hempcrete, are carbon negative, which means they actually continue to remove or they remove more carbon than released or if they ever release. So again, hemp sequesters more carbon than trees. And so there you have it. But yeah, circuit boards. Amazing how electronics are going to go and are starting to use hemp more and more. We're seeing hemp batteries being developed. Um, hemp is a conductor of electricity, and so it can be used for things like that. There's just so many, and that's more on the graphene side. Graphene is what we're seeing being used in batteries now. But making hemp graphene is uh, not only possible but being done, and so it's a great substitute for regular graphene, from my understanding, which is super bad on the planet one way or another. But in super conductor batteries, I believe, not regular batteries. Well, it's going to be interesting to see if we can incorporate hemp in one way or another in regular everyday batteries or phone batteries or things like that. But the fact that we can do circuit boards with them, makes that's just one more thing that then becomes recyclable or biodegradable. These are recyclable, they said. Which I would think if these are recyclable that they would also be mostly biodegradable. I don't know. I can't tell for sure because they don't say that one way or another. Um, big kudos go out to Manitoba Harvest. Of course, Manitoba Harvest is probably the largest supplier of hemp seed based food products out there, from just seed, protein powders, all kinds of good stuff come from Manitoba Harvest. But now they've been what they call a B Corp certification. I think this is a Canadian thing because they're in Canada. And they've been a B Corp certification for 10 years. They've had this B Corp certification, which measures a company's social and environmental impact on the planet, ensuring a holistic approach to their business practices. So Manitoba scored a perfect 100 this year. I don't know what their other ratings were or if they've done 100 before, but they scored a perfect 100 to continue to keep their B Corp status, which makes sense because, again, I mean, there's no chemicals being used as far as I would know. All that hemp that's being grown in Canada, and there's a lot for food, for seed. Um, you know, so much that they used to just burn the stalks at the end of the year as waste. Now I think now they're starting to realize that's not waste. That's fiber, and that's herd. Which is crazy that there isn't more fiber producers coming out of Canada, and that they're not trying to build more out of hempcrete because they grow a lot of hemp for seed. And there's zero reason why any of that plant should be wasted. Should use it all for something because it's all good for something. So, but good on Manitoba Harvest. You'll find their products in the grocery stores, if nothing else, because again, they're one of the largest suppliers, like I said, of hemp-based food products out there. From oil, seed, herd, or not herd, hull. The inside of the seed is called the hull, whole seed, protein powders, and smoothie stuff and whatnot. So I feel like, yeah, there's well, that's actually a different brand up there on my shelf. Can't believe I don't have a Manitoba Harvest container on my. I have hemp on all the shelves everywhere. It seems like around me, and I'm getting it all organized. Crazy. I'm not even close to being as organized as I want to be, but I'm becoming a lot more organized than I have ever been in a long time, with all my free time that I have. So there you have it. All right, we're going to close the show with, um, you know, I almost feel like this is an episode of Futurama, the Al Gore episode of Futurama when they talked about just, taking the ice from the polar ice caps and moving it down to cool the water, which is, half a joke. But, okay, so they are proposing in the polar regions of the world, I don't remember specifically where this is, okay, and a move to keep warm water from reaching the ice, the glaciers, in polar regions because it's melting faster than we want it to. We're going to, it's not how fast this ice is melting is obviously a huge issue to the impact of the world because you start to raise water levels and it will disrupt things everywhere, Just Daytona Beach alone from when I was in college to now has lost most of their beach due to water rising. You used to be able to drive on Daytona Beach because there was the beach was, from the water to the hotels and whatnot it was a good distance. You can't drive on the beach in Daytona anymore. And I don't even think they have as many activities on the beach as they used to down there because of the rise in tides in the water all over the world from this exponential melt. Okay, back to the hemp part. Okay, one proposed idea is to make curtains out of hemp to protect glaciers from the warm water. So they were going to make these big, they said we don't want to use plastic because, then you have all the microplastic that's going to float away. But hemp was the fabric choice. And what they're going to do is make these huge curtains, obviously, curtains. I don't know how deep the water is, but it might not be that deep. But they're going to literally anchor these curtains to the bottom of the seabed and go up to the top so that when the warm water hits them, it's diverted. And the warm water goes like away from the glaciers or the ice melt, the ice that is melting, icebergs, whatever it is, in these polar regions. So, thank you for being conscious enough to realize that yes, plastic would probably work better in a sense because I don't even know if you make them thick enough. I feel like you make these hemp curtains thick enough, they're going to be just as effective as plastic, which is completely sealed maybe. But again, you don't have to worry. no herbicides or pesticides needed to grow the hemp fiber. So you don't have to worry about any of that leaching into the ocean. Um, I don't think micro hemp fiber would be harmful to the sea life or anything like that. And so, you know, it's a really bizarre concept of something that someone thinks needs to be done. Obviously, it does need to be done because they are concerned about the ice melt, which makes sense. And so, making these huge curtains out of hemp, and we'll see, we'll see. They were just proposing the idea, and so amazing as it is as an idea, we'll see. But hopefully, if they decide to do it, they do use hemp because that's the plan. All right, not a whole lot of events, but if you're in Alabama, the Department of Agriculture will be hosting 4 industrial hemp meetings in February. And so go to the Alabama Department of Agriculture's website. You can see, I think, again, I think they start the first week. I think they're going to do one a week throughout the month um, on different subjects about hemp and growing hemp and farming hemp and all the stuff in hemp as far as what's going on in Alabama. And so if you're down there, you want to be a hemp farmer, you want to know more about what's going on, and go to the Department of Agriculture, find out when these meetings are, where they are. I don't know if I think they're actually on hand, but they may be virtual too. I don't know. Um, February 6th is the medical marijuana meetup here in Cincinnati, 8 o'clock at Mad Tree. I go when I can to kind of represent industrial hemp, and there are other hemp people there as well. And so, that's why we promote the medical marijuana meetup at Mad Tree, 8 p.m. It's always I believe she's still doing it the first Tuesday, which I don't know if that is true, but February 6th is the date, which wouldn't surprise me that is, in fact, a Tuesday. Also on February 6th at 10 a.m. CDT, the Tennessee Department of Agriculture will be having a public hearing on the hemp rulemaking. Again, this is the Tennessee Department of Agriculture at the Porter Building, and this is in Hogan. No, this is in Nashville. I'm sorry. So in Nashville, if you're around Nashville, once again, go to the Tennessee Department of Agriculture's website. I'm sure you can find more information on it. But that is also going to be February 6th, which is weird that they're doing that on a Tuesday. But anyway, and the only other thing, maybe you want to get over to India. I was just talking about my trip to India, which was hugely enlightening back in the day. The February 24th and 25th is going to be the India Hemp Expo in Mumbai. So if you ever wanted to go to India, I suppose this is a good enough reason. Check out what's going on. But I know India is also really promoting industrial hemp for all its intent and purposes, which I'm really surprised that they haven't been, doing the fiber thing for material before this, because they've always, tried to rival. China is a rival when it comes to manufacturing goods with India, and the fact that China produces 60 to 70% of the hemp material that we need. I'm surprised, but a lot of cotton in India. There's a huge amount of cotton growing in India, and a lot of cotton material in India as well. So either way, if you're interested in the India Hemp Expo in Mumbai, that'll be the February 24th and 25th. All right. Well, you've heard my thoughts. There are no questions. So I will leave you with this. Remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having hemptations.
See you all next week.